I'm no longer a person, I'm a robot.
It sounds like it.
But I'm Chris Waller, I'm a horse trainer from Australia. We've got a pretty big stable, based in Sydney, but have a smaller section in Melbourne and also the Gold Coast. And I'm in a very fortunate position to train some nice horses, including WINX'S, and hopefully plenty of other great horses that you'll be watching and cheering for in years to come. We see so many great horses year in, year out, but the horses have the winning sequences like her are rare, and for her to win that last race it was pretty important. You've got the whole of the world watching this horse from Australia having her last race, and everybody was watching, and a lot of them were at Randwick on that day. So to see her surge to the front, it was job done, and something that, like each and every one of her wins, we'll remember, but that one race had to be won, and yeah, it was a great journey, and one that we're feeling a little hollow now, but it's only because we've just lost something that we could never replace. It was a once in a lifetime opportunity. I've got great horses in the stable, and they're putting a smile on my face every week and making me feel very proud, but there'll be that one little spot that might never get filled again. No, we've made a point of not making it a big name until the right horse comes along. And like I said, it might take a while. So yeah, the fanfare's gone, it's back to reality, and we've got a great bunch of young horses and they're racing very well. It's like going for a walk around the park after you've had WINX'S. And when she was in training and I thought we were under pressure, I thought about men and women around the world going to war. People from Australia or New Zealand, the Anzacs in those early days, like that's pressure. That's something you really have to think about in terms of life, whether you're going to come home at night or go back to see your family when you get on a boat or a plane to a war zone. That's pressure. So I just put everything into perspective now. We've had the pressure of WINX'S, just like any sporting person would be going to the Olympic Games. People challenging health issues, they're challenges. A horse race, we made a big deal of it, but really, is it that much of a deal? So I put it into perspective now, prepare properly, and I've got a great team working with me that we just don't leave a stone unturned, and if we do make a mistake, we try and fix it very quickly. Keep things simple, look after the horses is such a big thing. They've been great to me, and it's my duty to make sure I look after my horses. Yeah, 3 o'clock start, and yeah, that's pretty standard for Australia. And finish when it's done, so I don't go home through the day. I stay at work the whole day. Last couple of nights I've been working well after 8 o'clock, having a break for the family, basically from 6 to 8, and then just get back in to make sure you have a good start for the next day. I like to be well prepared, and I like to be finished my job. So I do a lot myself, but obviously I've got a lot of horses, so I do delegate a lot as well, and I've got an army of staff supporting me that I like working with and like to get on with, and I like them to think that I'm part of the team, so that's why I want to be there when the lights go on in the morning, and I want to be there when they're finished as well. I still watch the horses. I see the horses every morning, so I'm based in Sydney, but we have satellite stables in Melbourne and the Gold Coast. But every morning, as I said, when the lights go on, I start at box 1 and I walk around to 140, see all the horses, then I go out to the track. I see all the horses come past me, working, going out to the track, coming back from the track, and I've got a spotter that lets me know when they're at the 400 metre mark. So it's sort of like this all morning, and plenty of that. But I get to be very familiar with the horses. I do all my own reports to the owners, so it's getting ingrained in my head. My first Melbourne Cup experience, or not experience, but memory, was a horse called Kiwi. And I'm from New Zealand, so this horse Kiwi was trained by a farmer who had 1 or 2 horses only. It was just up the road from where I lived, and this horse came to Australia and won the Melbourne Cup. He was ridden by a jockey called Jimmy Cassidy, whom I had posters of on my wall, as I did of Kiwi, and I just thought, how good would it be one day to see a Melbourne Cup, or perhaps meet Jimmy Cassidy. And I've been lucky enough not to win a Melbourne Cup, but to have runners in the Melbourne Cup as we do this year. And I've been lucky enough to have Jim Cassidy ride Group 1 winners for me. So that's how a little seed starts and grows into something pretty big. And I'm pretty proud of that first memory. Is there ever a race that you hit the front and you don't get that feeling? Whether it's in the middle of the night watching a race that you've had some money on at one of at Kempton or something like that, or the Melbourne Cup. When that horse hits the front, straight away you're looking for what other horses in the race are your dangers. Unfortunately, in a Melbourne Cup, there's plenty of dangers. And obviously the 2,400 metre distance is an extreme distance, 3,200 metres is extreme distance, so the last 200 metres they're calling on everything to get them over the line. I think it'd be Royal Ascot. Obviously any race there is special. Timing for an Australian horse, it's quite good to be there in June because it's the end of our racing season, like it is now for the European or Northern Hemisphere horses here in Australia. So I think timing's got a big reason for us targeting that meeting. Obviously the Arc being in October, early October, it's very difficult for us because it's right in the middle of our big carnivals. And yeah, you would need an international team of horses to be taking a horse there. At this stage, we're a big stable, but we've got all resources thrown at these big races in the next few weeks because they are what get our name up in the right headlines, and we need to make sure we keep doing it. You go through different changes of life, and I had a taste of Royal Ascot with Brazen Beau. He went over here from Australia, he ran second, narrowly defeated, and that gave us the will to go again, obviously. So yeah, when the right horse comes along, we'll be back, and if that wasn't enough, well, meeting the Queen and seeing that side of things has got me forever. No, it was an amazing day. We were aware of it to start with, so we had to make sure we were dressed right, and everything from head to toe was thought of. Just the transport getting there, you name it. We had it all covered, but we were questioning ourselves: will we be late? What are we going to say? And all those things. And it was just a beautiful experience. We were made feel so welcome. And the Queen and her staff have an absolute passion for people, passion for life, and they're amazing ambassadors to us all. And yeah, we had a great experience. When she walked into the room, she has this aurora around her, and she makes you feel very welcome and at home. Then that was just in a meeting room, and then we went for lunch, and I'm quite a shy person, believe it or not, and I had to look at the guest seating arrangement as we walked into the beautiful room where we had lunch, and I was half hoping that I wasn't sitting right next to the Queen because I just didn't feel it was right. So sure enough, my name's there, Chris Waller, next the Queen. So again, she made me feel very welcome, and I sat up nice and straight, did everything right, and even had a laugh about a few things. And she's just passionate about racing. She's passionate, as I said, about people and the world events that's going on. And she was well aware of Australia's drought and the challenges we face. She was well aware of the prize money that we race for and the great breeding industry that we've got. Prize money is in Australia, there's no doubting that, but the prestige of Royal Ascot and those big race days, wherever they are in the world, is on the top of every trainer's heart. And likewise, owners, jockeys, the people that follow racing, they are these great events because it brings the best horses together and it gives everybody the chance to compete on the same stage. I'll tell you something about racing. Forget religions, forget racial tension. On a racetrack, everybody's the same. We respect one another. We're no better than one another. On a racetrack, everybody's equal. And it's great to see these countries having these race meetings because it brings people together. And in Australia alone, that's what racing was started up for, was to bring people together as a social event, and hasn't changed much. It's pretty good fun.